Welcome to the Drug Pronunciation Series on the Pharmacist's Voice podcast. I'm your host, Ohio pharmacist Kim Newlove. This is episode 364, and you can find the show notes on thepharmacistvoice.com. We are going over the pronunciations of Dupixent and dupilumab today. It is a treatment for a number of conditions, and I don't usually talk about what the drug is used for. We usually jump right into the pronunciations, but there's a special reason. So I'm going to tell you a story in just a second. So some of the conditions that Dupixent, otherwise known as dupilumab, treats are atopic dermatitis, asthma, COPD, eosinophilic esophagitis, otherwise known as EOE, and more. It treats a number of conditions. And I chose this drug today because I saw that it was a treatment for eosinophilic esophagitis. We used to call it EE many years ago, but then I believe it's erosive esophagitis is the true EE now, so we call eosinophilic esophagitis EOE at this point. More than 20 years ago, here's my story. More than 20 years ago, there was a mom on the street that I lived on in Toledo whose son had eosinophilic esophagitis, and she used to call it EE. And again, it's EOE these days. So, as a 1-year-old child, this little boy was severely underweight and vomited all the time, daily. Budesonide inhaled solution was the only treatment back 20 years ago. So, she had to make some sort of, I think she called it a slurry with budesonide for inhalation. And this little boy would swallow it, I think, at least twice a day. If you can imagine using an inhaled solution as an orally swallowed solution, that was the treatment. And that was a game changer for this little boy. It helped and he gained weight. Fast forward 20 years, this little boy is about to graduate from the University of Michigan this spring 2026. So he survived and he led a full life. But I can't help but wonder what his life would have been like if he had had Dupixent injections every 2 weeks instead of using that oral budesonide twice a day. It is really nice for me as a mom to know that moms like my friend have more options today. Now, I know that I'm focusing on this EOE story, but it's a powerful one. I know Dupixent has changed many patient lives. Seeing struggling patients overcome their challenges and live full lives is very rewarding. All right, now let's get into the pronunciations. We don't cover pharmacology in this series, it's just pronunciations. Let's go with the brand name first. The brand name is Dupixent. Dupixent has 3 syllables. That's du, like dual, pix, like pixel, and ent, like the last syllable in the word president. Ent. You put all 3 syllables together and you get Dupixent. I'll say it kind of slow here. Dupixent. Dupixent. Emphasize that first syllable, du. See if you can hear that emphasis when I say it again. Dupixent. Dupixent. My source for the written pronunciation is the patient information located on regeneron.com. There's a PDF, you click on it, and I accessed it here in January 2026. I know it's right there at the top. Now, for a spoken pronunciation example from someone other than myself, watch the first 20 seconds of the Dupixent injection demonstration video on dupixent.com. They also have a YouTube channel for this drug. Dupixent has its own YouTube channel as I published this in January 2026. They say Dupixent quite a lot on that YouTube channel as well. All right, that does it for the brand name Dupixent. Dupilumab is next. Dupilumab has 4 syllables. That's du, like dual, pill, like a pillow, u, like the letter U in the alphabet, and mab, which is the stem for monoclonal antibodies. A stem is a group of similar drugs like monoclonal antibodies. Put all 4 syllables together and you get dupilumab. Emphasize that second syllable, pill. See if you can hear the emphasis when I say it again. Dupilumab. Dupilumab. My sources for the written pronunciation are the USP Dictionary Online and MedlinePlus.gov. The USP Dictionary Online, of course, is a subscription based product, so if you don't have access to that reference, head over to MedlinePlus.gov and search for dupilumab. You'll see the written pronunciation there. And to hear someone other than myself say dupilumab, head over to Dupixent's YouTube channel. I am loving that these newer drugs have their own YouTube channel. It's a great source of information. In the first 20 seconds of the introduction for their podcast, yes, they have a podcast, you will hear the word dupilumab. You can also hear an actor say dupilumab in the first 20 seconds of the Dupixent injection demonstration video on Dupixent.com. Before I finish talking about dupilumab, let me just say that I'm not a fan of the pronunciation of dupilumab on drugs.com. I'm not making fun of them. I'm just saying that they say dupilumab. I know what they're talking about, and if you say it too, you're in good company, that there's nothing wrong with saying it. We know what you're talking about. It's just not how the drug sponsor intended for the drug name to be said. In my humble opinion, Regeneron does a fantastic job of putting their intended pronunciations for the brand and generic names out there on YouTube and their website. I know it can be time consuming, a big time suck to look up these drug names when you're new to them, but maybe these tricks and sources that you learn about in this drug pronunciation series might help you pronounce other drug names in the future. I know there's like a new drug coming out every day. My call to action here is if you don't know how to say a drug name, check the drug sponsor's direct to consumer materials and their YouTube channel if they have one for pronunciation clues. There's a lot of information out there. We're in the information age, so use the information. That drug is their baby. They named it. That's how I look at it. So just say it right. And that's all I have for you today. We broke down Dupixent and dupilumab into syllables. We talked about which syllable, if any, to emphasize, and I gave you my sources. Thank you very much for joining me for the 71st episode in my drug pronunciation series. The show notes are on thepharmacistvoice.com. In the show notes, you will find the written pronunciations for Dupixent and dupilumab, links to my sources, links to the other 70 episodes in this drug pronunciation series, my social media links, and more. If you know someone who would like to learn how to say Dupixent and dupilumab, please share this episode with them. And if you like this podcast, come on back. We've got more episodes coming up here in 2026. Subscribe to or follow the Pharmacist Voice podcast on your favorite podcast player and YouTube to get each new episode right when it comes out. Thanks so much for listening today, and I'll talk to you next week.